Hi everybody, welcome to another tutorial on BeepStreet Drambo, the modular groovebox. In this tutorial I like to talk about Gate+VelocitySequencer. In the previous video we talked about clock generators and we saw how we can use those to actually generate some interesting patterns. In this video we are going to go through probably the next evolution. Clock generators are really good if you want to generate predictable patterns, but if you want to do something more interesting or something not as regular in terms of generating events, then you need to use something different. So let's use the new sequencer module that I'm going to show you to create a simple arpeggiator. So let's click on the plus sign. Let's start to go to miscellaneous utilities and let's click on the Gate+Velocity_Sequencer. Here it is. So how does it work? You have steps here, which are identified by this dial, 8 steps, and you have the number of bits which are played, number of steps which are played per bit, and here you have the gate length, usually in milliseconds, the time for which the step will last for. So when you put a step, that will form the gate and the height will form the velocity. Okay, nice and simple. So for example, let's do something like this, alternating. So we have maximum velocity and we have alternating steps. Okay, well, you see this lighter gray here, this different gray color, that is where the sequencer is in terms of playing the step. Okay, next, let's make it a little bit more interesting, and let's go on the math category, and let's choose the logic module. We lose a logic AND module, and this one will be used to actually ensure that the gating signal will go through only when two conditions are true, i.e. the first one and the second one. So when the first and the second are true, so we have the same impulse, then that will go through. Then next, let's add an instrument. Let's go to generator, let's go to instrument rack preset, and let's choose a bass. Something like a drum bass. Okay, so let's ensure the connectivity are right. So MIDI CV, select the normal MIDI, that's fine. The sequencer is driven by the global timing, that's absolutely fine. So what we are going to do next, ensure that the pitch is driven by the MIDI to CV output, that's fine. We are going to drive into the end module the gate from the MIDI to CV, which will be on only when we press a key on the keyboard or we press on the pad. Then we are going to take on the second input of that end module the gate from the sequencer. So if the sequencer has a gate of 1 and the key is pressed, then the condition coming out from the end module will be 1. And in that case, we will take that gating directly into the instrument drum bass. We take the velocity directly from the sequencer, so that will be defined by the height of each of the bars. So let's click play. You don't hear anything, that's absolutely correct because we are not pressing a key. So let's go to key and let's press it and hold the key. So hopefully you can see how this works, right? Let's go through it one more time. So there is a MIDI signal which is going through the MIDI to CV module, and that the pitch drives the instrument. The impulse gate goes inside this end module. The sequencer then drives alternating gating events, which the output of which goes to this end module. when both of those two signals are to 1, there is a gate, then that will be passed on to the instrument and the instrument will play. And the velocity of that instrument are driven by the velocity of each of the steps from the sequencer. Right, so let's stop now this. Let's go to the right hand side and let's make it a little bit more interesting. So let's add under MIDI a transpose module. So this will have an input from the normal MIDI signal, and that's absolutely fine. Yeah. And let's set that you will transpose up by 12 intervals, and let's set it to 2 as an amount twice the intervals in terms of influence. Then let's add under MIDI a MIDI to CV module, and that will be driven by the MIDI which is coming from the transpose module, so that the note that is coming in, which I pressed on the keyboard, will be transposed by twice by 12 intervals. Then let's add under utility another gate velocity sequencer. Okay, this time let's do alternating step, but opposite to what we saw in the first gate sequencer. Okay, then let's add a math logic and module, and finally also the same instrument rack, which was our drum bass. So let's ensure the connectivities are right. So the pitch is driven by the MIDI to CV. The first input of the AND module is driven by the gate of the MIDI to CV, the second one. Then we drive the second input of the AND module from the gating signal from the gate velocity sequencer, the second one. And then we drive the gating of the second drum bass instrument by the gating signal of this second sequencer, and we connect the velocity as well to this sequencer. Finally, because we have 2 outputs, let's add a mixer like so, and let's connect the mixer to this first bass and also to the first bass. Right, let's press play and let's play on the keyboard. As you can hear, the sound is ongoing, so there is something wrong. So let's double check on the second bass. So this is driven by the gating, that's fine. This one by this gating, which makes sense. The pitch is driven by this. The gating here needs to be driven by this end, not by the sequencer, otherwise it will always go. So that was the problem. So let's play again. Okay, we don't hear anything, and let's play on the keyboard now. Perfect, so this is now working. I hope you found this useful, and see you next time. Bye.